Hi everyone and welcome back to Barker-Stargazer's mainly crochet channel. Today we are taking a more in-depth look at this short, or will it be here? I'm not sure, that I did earlier in the week on how to use the very versatile granny square to make lovely tote style gift bags. So I'm going to take you through the basics of making these two bags. And from there you'll have the basics to create your own tote style gift bags in whatever size you want. So first things first, you're going to need to pick a granny square because your granny squares are going to sit on the front and back panels of your tote style bags. If you're comfortable with charts, I'd just say head to Pinterest. You can find loads of charts of free granny squares there, but if you do prefer a tutorial, head to YouTube Shorts. There's absolutely tons of free ones there. Starting with your granny square and then working your base and side panels around the size of your finished square allows you the freedom to use whatever granny square that you want to use. However, if you do need your bag to be a certain size, I would recommend starting with the base panel of the bag, but I'm going to go through how to do exact sizes later on in the video. We're just going to start with the basics. So playing here is me making my favourite type of granny square, which is this one. I love the fact that you can use as few or as many colours for it as possible, and working from the corner out, it always gives you a lovely finished square regardless of what you use. So once you've got your granny square for your front and your back done, I'm going to move on to the side panel. Now, the first thing you want to do for your side panel is make sure it's as long on its foundation chain as your granny square is tall. So as you can see, it starts here and it's running up and down the back. So your foundation chain that starts your side panel needs to be as long as the granny square is tall. So you do your first 7 rounds of just normal double crochet running backwards and forwards, making sure to chain 1 and turn at the end of each round. Then your 8th row is done in the back loops only, and this creates a bend in your bag that's more noticeable on the inside. So when the whole bag is complete, it has a natural concertina there on the side. You don't have to do that, I just prefer that on my bags. And then you just work another 6 rows of double crochet the same way you worked your first 7, just running backwards and forwards, standard double crochet, nothing special. And then that takes us onto the base. And with the base, you just need to make sure that your foundation chain is as long as your side panel is wide, and that you put enough rows going down to match the bottom edge of your front granny square panel. And then it's onto construction. I'll switch to this bag because it's a little clearer. So we start with working the side panels onto, get it the right way around, onto the base panel using rows of double crochet, joining them up. And then you want to run a row of double crochet up the side of the granny square, catching in the side of the side panels as you go up. Throw in an extra double crochet at the corner of the granny square just for turning the corner. Do a full row of double crochet along top, not joining to anything, and then back down the bottom. And then obviously you repeat that on the other side of your bag. And then the last bit we need to do is the handles. Now, any stitch in any width or any length will do for a handle. I've chosen to do a foundation double crochet stitch, and it's done like this. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will see that the finished foundation chain in my short there does not look exactly like this, and that's true. I made one additional change to it, and it's basically on a standard double crochet foundation chain. Your double crochets are going into your gap from the back. To create my chain, I've gone in through the front. I just think it gives a more metal kind of chain look to it. I prefer that for doing a handle. My handle is nice and thick because I have used 2 strands of chunky yarn held together and a 8mm hook. I've actually done that for the whole bag, but like I say, it's up to you what yarn and what size hook you use. Obviously, if you use smaller, your bag is going to be smaller. If you use larger, your bag will be larger. Now, onto sizing. Okay, let's say I want a little gift bag to put my hummingbird decoration here inside. So, first things first, we need to create a base panel large enough for this hummingbird to sit in. That's where we're going to start. So beforehand, we started with a granny square, but as we want a certain size now for the bag, we're going to start with our base panel. Okay, so using 1 strand of chunky yarn and a 5mm hook, I've chained 15 here. Now, when sizing for working in crochet, for your base chain, your foundation chain, which is what I have here, I would always stretch it, because that's actually the size it's going to be when you've added your rows. It does tend to grow, and I always work in multiples of 5 when I'm sizing something. So this is a chain of 15, and I would say that that's going to be large enough. So first thing you need to do, now that you have your length of chain, is to just add 1 more chain 1. This is your turning chain to start your full row of double crochet. That's your turning chain, so it doesn't count as a stitch. So at the end of this row, I'm going to have 15 double crochet. So I'm going to do as many rows of double crochet as needed to be... Is that going to be a perfect square? Let's have a look. Oh, no, just shy of a perfect square. It needs to be, maybe 12 rounds long. Right, we'll get to that. we are. I've done the base panel. It actually ended up being 15 rounds tall. I think my double crochet has come up a little bit small in height. Right, so the next thing I'll need to make is the side panels because we need to get the height. Right. Let's have a look. Height of this bird. Right, so that's how it's going to sit at the bottom of the bag. And so height is tail to beak. Let's see. That only needs to be. Put it to there. Right, how many chains is this? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chains. So we'll do 12. So we need that one extra to turn. We want it to be 15 rows. So I'm going to do the row in the back loops only on row 8. Okay, so I've got my base piece and my 2 side panels. So I now know that my granny square cannot be any taller or wider than these points. This is as high as it can go and this is as long as it can go. Now obviously that means that I'm going to have a gap, but I'll show you how I rectify that once I've done the granny square. I'm going to do my favourite granny square, which was on the short at the beginning. Just going to do it in silver. So it starts off with a chain 3 followed by 2 trebles. That chain 3 counts as a treble. Then you chain 1 and repeat until you have 4 treble clusters. And then you slip stitch into your first stitch, and there you can see we've already got a little square. Once you tighten up that magic circle, chain 1, turn, and now you can start working on your next row, because your row is only going to work across here and down here, so all of your growth needs to be here. I'm doing an additional 2 chains to get up to the correct height. I am chaining 1, skipping this, and now I'm going to do 3 trebles in the 1 chain space at the corner, followed by 3 chains and 3 more treble crochets. Chain 1, skip the next stitch here, 1 treble there and 2 trebles here. Right, you see that square is starting to build. I'm going to check it against this height, so we're probably only going to need 1 more round, maybe 2. As I say, I love this granny square. It's lovely and easy as long as you remember to put a pattern of 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles into this corner. Make sure that you have a gap here, then work 3 more trebles, 1 more gap, 3 more trebles, and you just expand this out from this granny square. I love the fact that it works from the corner outwards, and I love the fact that it's just so easy that you've just got to remember every time you're starting a new round to get up to your height of your stitch. Right, let's check this. Yep, that is high enough now for the side, but obviously it's not wide enough. So the easiest thing to do is now just to continue this pattern along to extend it, or you could just do a few rows of double crochet or treble crochets here, break your yarn and do a few more here. It really doesn't matter. All I'm showing you here is a way of using any granny square and any dimensions to make a little taupe gift bag. And there we go, there's the 3 finished bags all together. I hope you found this tutorial episode interesting, and I'll see you guys next week.